Hi, welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophie, your pilot into the universe of Chinese. We are going to continue our journey in learning just a little bit more about this amazing language, my native tongue, as possible. Yesterday, we talked about 细水长流, which is Chinese wisdom about live within your means, about underspending so that your savings can last longer. And we use the image of water or river to reserve that reservoir of yours, make it flowing, lasting longer by narrowing the stream. So underspending or just be rational in your spending. And today we're going to have 高山流水. All four characters we recently met frequently, and today still it's something new about it. It's even if we're kind of repeating the characters, each combination actually comes with their own stories or their own backgrounds. So today is a beautiful, beautiful story behind it. Okay, 高山流水. The other day we have 山高水长, right? So we do pair 高 and 山. Whether it's a 山高, noun in front of adjective, or 高山, adjective in front of noun, it doesn't matter. The two elements are there, and we all often pair 高 with 山 or 山 with 高, describing 山 as 高. Okay. Again, we have 山, 3 spike, 3 ridges, and with a little bit of triangular shape over there, and that's just very rational way, right? Like if you're a language creator, you want to draw a generic mountain, how are you going to draw it? Most likely, I mean, probably for kids, if you ask a young kids to draw their concept of mountain, probably this is a common one, except like this spikes, that's abstraction. We didn't draw like 3 triangles like that, right? That takes too many strokes. We use 1 spike to represent a mountaintop or a high rises mountain, right? So mountain, water, it means, I mean, right now it's water, it's the elements, the natural elements of water, but here is a group like a water body in nature, because back then we don't have tap water yet. So water here, also we use 3 segments. The middle is the mainstream, uninterrupted. The sides are interrupted side streams that run shallower and more likely to encounter objects, right? Blockers in the middle. So we have 山 and 高, which is just using 3, visually to representing a generic mountain, group of mountains and water flowing in nature. And then we have 高 and 流. 高 again not nature. This is human architecture inspired. We have this blocks as you can view it as windows, and then we have this arch, means first story building, and then we have the second story, and then we have the roof and the chimney or the ridge, the beam on the top. And if you look at East Asian architectures, a lot of times that's how it looks, and sometimes we have this beautiful, flowing roof. We call it a 飞檐, flying rooftop. That's highly stylized. Probably it's functional as well, but in any case, this is a rooftop, and the whole thing is like a tower, like at least a 2-story architecture, and we use that as a representation of the abstract concept of high or tall. When learn English, we sometimes have to start from our own language, right? I mean, not sometimes, probably always. Start from our own language. And 高, when we say 高, we will describe a person. 高. We also describe a mountain. 高. It's the same character. I mean, both means vertically, grand, like a long scale of vertically. But in English, we have high and tall, 2 words. So that's some interesting, like unequal mapping over there. But in any case, in Chinese, we will say 高山. And 流水 is, now 流 is a state of water. I mean, water probably have two major state of being. One is 流, which is running from higher to lower ground. And the other one is staying water or stale water, stagnant water, which is on the same level of ground. There's nowhere to go. It's even, it's horizontal, it's peace, it's no flowing, right? So here we're talking about we do talk about running water. So waters do run, and we use the same water sign, which means the material here is water. And then the right side is the behavior of water, which we use the three streams, kind of S-curve, aerodynamic or fluid dynamic. That's probably more accurate. And then we have this blocker thing, and still we have this almost like airplane looking symbol on the top to mean keep going, that's the direction to go. That's my interpretation. Okay, so that's water flowing with or without blockers, always find their way, keep going, right? So that's our running river. Again, we use water to mean water body in nature, and most likely it's flowing. And we have high mountain and running water. And this actually is a reference of the legend has it. So I'm not sure if this actual occurrence, but the story stayed within our culture. And when we talk about 高山流水, always people in their mind will think about these two guys. There are certain bromance over there about the two guys, and actually they came from totally different backgrounds. And one guy was playing, so on the side view you probably can hardly see. There was a 古琴, so ancient qin is a plucked string, horizontal, probably 5 strings. Is it 5 strings? Something like that. Not many strings, but you can slide your left hand to make different pitches, right? And when this one person, 伯牙, is this one person playing on the 古琴, and make a certain sound, right? It's peaceful, probably, and people in our imagination is like this 伯牙 was playing the 古琴in a natural setting and somewhere close to river body. I mean, in front of a lake or river. So there is nature and this dynamic between the music and nature in there, right? So music is kind of a reflecting nature, and nature get more, I guess, elevated, more spirited from this music. So, and anyways, there's some energy exchange over there, and there's some coding. Music is a sort of code, right? It's a human created code to express ourselves, non-verbal expression. And so because it's non-verbal, it's undefined, and we cannot really talk about it. You just hear it, and you start to have some idea about probably the story or at least the feeling from the music, right? So this 子期 happened to be some actually a labor guy. So here this rendering, this is not accurate. So it's a totally different walks of life, and probably not as well educated or leisure class that who can afford to sit there and play an instrument in nature. But this person actually is a laborer, and it was a kind of a lumberjack. It was cutting on woods to make a living. But this person, when hearing the music he played, he got it. He totally understands what the music is about, and he kind of verbalized it, what it feels to him, and said this is about high mountains and flowing waters, and they clicked. So that's the story. And so I translate it as resonance. It's something unsaid, but the energy, the meaning, the intention somehow passed through this nonverbal code. So the sender and the receiver get the same message. And this kind of resonance, this message sending and receiving, because it doesn't happen that often, actually. A lot of times it's misunderstanding, misinformation, right? We're living in this chaotic age. Everybody sending out different messages, and you receive, and it's chaos. But chaos is a norm. That's disorder is probably the norm. And when this connection, this transfer of emotion, of understanding happen between two individuals, it's such a beautiful thing. And that's why this story was captured in Chinese storytelling and in this phrase, 高山流水. And then I call it the most famous soulmates in Chinese culture. And when you talk about the 高山流水, when you talk about soulmates, you talk about the deep understanding, you talk about human connections. That's our representation. And I don't think the drawing did justice to the meaning behind it, but it's kind of classical Chinese drawing with involves with pine trees, involves with like water plants, some mountains, and then the ancient people, they have their hairdos, right? Have their headgear, have their long gowns, even for men. And if they're long gown, you probably can tell they're leisure class, they don't need to work. And actually, 子期 is a lumberjack. He wears shorts. So he came totally from a different background, but still make that connection. That's a human to human connection with that, regardless of class and differences, right? So that's what kind of struck a chord on people through generations. That's our romance about resonance, 高山流水. Cash into the currency of thinking with one word a day with Sophie. See you another day.